Hey everyone, today we are chatting with Aisha Sanghi. Hi Aisha, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Aisha is a junior at Parsons, the new school of design.
So I go to Parsons, which is in New York City, right in central Manhattan.
Do you have a campus or is it?
No, so we pretty much don't have a campus at all. We're like in downtown Manhattan. We have a 4-block radius with all the buildings in them, and we have dorm buildings, but they're maybe a 15-minute walk away from our school buildings. And there's no campus life as such like other schools. But I mean, I don't mind at all because I'm loving living in the city. It's a completely different experience, but it's great. There's so much to do. You can go out and eat a different meal every day if you want to in a different restaurant. There's museums, there's parks to go to. There's a lot of culture to sort of take in just from being in a city.
Right.
Not being enclosed in a bubble of a campus. You can kind of escape that in New York. I'm studying product design and I'm doing a minor in psychology as well as a minor in creative entrepreneurship.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
It is, but it's fun, so it's easy to cope. The school has a whole bunch of different majors you can take. So there's people taking things from fashion design to graphics, there's illustration, photography, sculpture, all kinds of stuff that you can take. And on top of that, they have a liberal arts section of the school.
Okay.
So you can actually do your major, like I'm doing in product design or fashion, and at the same time you can take minors or even another major which is in liberal arts. So I have a lot of friends doing a program which is called the BAFA. So you're doing a bachelor's in business as well as a bachelor's in fine arts, which can be any of the majors in the school.
Wow. So what sort of career options have you seen people taking from the school?
I think it varies so greatly depending on your major. So there's people from school who come back and teach, but at the same time, I have a professor who's graduated maybe 3 years ago and now works for Chanel. And it's not necessarily because he's doing fashion. He did graphics and computer rendering, and he still managed to work for Chanel. There's people who work for design consultancies. People go to animation companies like DreamWorks and Pixar.
There's this stereotype of art school
Yes.
being limited to
Yes.
just sort of
I
sketching.
have a lot of people who are like, you're gonna go to art school and you're gonna paint. What else are you gonna do? You're not gonna make much money. But like, I think that's a stigma that people need to start moving away from now, because there's so much that you can do. I actually can't draw very well. I don't paint at all. All my stuff is physical making. I make furniture. So it's amazing because I'm learning everything very hands-on. We have to do everything ourselves. There's very little help from technicians. We learn how to use all the machinery. So we pretty much had to buy wood from a shop, get it to school, cut it down with our own hands and machinery, whatever. And I made a table like from scratch by myself. Had to finish it, oil it, all of that stuff by myself. So it's interesting how much I've learned that I didn't even know was possible before.
Yeah, because I'm thinking ergonomics and there's a science
It's huge.
behind.
There's a lot of I hate physics, and I didn't realize how much physics was involved. So we had to build a chair. So there's a lot about the angle of the seat to back and how low the seat is, how comfortable it is. There's a lot that no one thinks about that goes into this stuff. The two main subjects I took that I knew I would focus on later was visual arts, because I had that option in IB, and psychology because I wanted to pursue that as well. But there's no real subjects that someone should take unless they know they want to pursue it, except for architecture, where people say it's good to take math and physics.
So for the minor that you've taken in business, do they need to do economics at all, or is that not?
No, I didn't do it, so there was no requirements.
Right.
They sometimes give you a math class, but it's like very, very basic business math, accounting kind of stuff, and it's not complicated at all. I was never into the math physics area, but I'm still coping fine.
Aisha, tell us about the other design schools that are in the world.
So I applied to 6 schools: RISD, SAIC, Central St. Martin's, which is in London, Parsons, obviously, Pratt, which is also in New York, and there's another school called SVA that I almost applied to but didn't quite get to it, which is also in New York. Other than that, there's SCAD as well, which has different programs in Savannah, Atlanta, Hong Kong, and there's other schools in California, Canada. I think everyone should look at as many schools as possible because it's really important to find what the best fit is for you. Some people think that it's the best ranking, so it might be the best school to go to, but that's not necessarily true. You might have to find the tailor-made program for you. So if you want to do liberal arts as well as design, then Parsons. RISD has very strong industrial design programs. SAIC has a good fine art program. So depending on where you want to go to. And I always suggest that people should go to summer school or try to go to the campus, test it out. You can test out the city, the facilities, you can talk to some of the teachers as well.
Right. And you did a summer...
Yes, I did a 1-month summer program at Parsons in design management, which is kind of business and design combined. After being in school for a little while, I decided I wanted to go into product design. So I changed my direction.
Right, that's how it
Exactly.
evolves,
So
yeah.
if I hadn't been to summer school, I wouldn't have known that that's what I wanted to do.
Aisha, talk us through the application process because it's different, I believe, from the normal.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you have to apply through the Common App like for regular schools. But when I applied 2 years ago, half the schools didn't really have an application on the Common App because you have to send a portfolio in. So they have their own online portals where you can upload your portfolio and write your essays and everything. So I applied to each school individually on their own website, not through the Common App at all. The other thing that people don't realize is most of the focus goes on to your portfolio. So your results and your SATs are important, but definitely not as important as the portfolio is.
Okay.
Some of the schools have specific requirements, like RISD has drawing challenges that vary from year to year.
Okay.
Parsons has something called the Parsons Challenge, where you have to use something and incorporate it into your work as well. But largely, the main chunk of your portfolio stays the same throughout the school.
Okay.
So mostly in the US, it's very difficult to get an internship as an international student because there are all of these small rules about how you can't be paid because then you have to pay your taxes. So you have to find an unpaid internship which at the same time doesn't interfere with your schoolwork. So actually, none of my classes are over 18 to 20 people.
Whoa.
It's a very, very small class size, so you get a whole lot of individual attention from each teacher. I can email my teacher at any time and ask them questions. They'll come and help you with the project.
Wow.
Even my lecture classes, which are maybe 100, 120 people, get divided up into discussion classes, which are again 18, 20 people. So you're always getting attention from the one professor who knows you, knows your background, your last name, everything.
Oh boy, and you're almost sitting and having coffee with them.
Exactly, yeah.
And do they sometimes get assignments that you become a part of as well?
So a lot of teachers do have, like they all do work outside of the class. Teaching is kind of their extra thing on the
Right.
side. So it feels good to know that they're not teaching for the money, they're teaching just to teach.
Right.
I just had a teacher who did a project where he was designing outdoor shade structures for a park in outside of the city, and he got the whole class to kind of brainstorm with him and design some sketches and different ideas for him. So it was fun working, yeah.
How cool. So he gets to do his project and you get
Exactly.
to do something fun.
Yeah, exactly. Parsons is known to have great study abroad opportunities. They have a Parsons in Paris as well, which is great.
Wow,
So, yeah, it's beautiful, and you get a whole other angle on the studying that you do and the courses that you do. They also have kind of programs with other schools in Florence, and one of my roommates is studying in Australia. People go to London to do an exchange program, so you can pretty much go anywhere.
So what do you plan to do once you finish with this program?
Well, the reason I'm studying product design and psychology and business as well is because eventually I want to design children's toys for children with special needs or with learning disabilities. And right now I'm trying to focus on developmental psychology. So hopefully I'll start a business with something like this because it's a big field in the US. It's a lot of opportunity that people haven't sort of broken into as yet.
Sounds so beautiful.
So children with something like autism or even like a low level of autism get helped a lot with toys that are colorful or have different sounds. They're fun to play with for them. It develops their motor skills. So in the long run may have a positive effect on them.
Tell me, are all art students a bit quirky?
Well, my school has the highest international student population in the whole of the US, I think.
Oh, really?
So the people I've met are all like completely different from each other, from all around the world, and I feel like everyone has a lot more personality because everyone has so much of their own uniqueness that they're putting into their work.
Yeah.
So everyone is very different and very quirky, but it's even more fun.
And creative.
Yeah, exactly. It's more fun.
Okay, thank you so much, Aisha,
No
for being on the show. It was such a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Wish you all the luck with your beautiful project ahead.
Thank you so much.
Please click the subscribe button below. Like me at facebook.com/ChetChat101. Follow my Twitter handle ChetChat101 or at Instagram ChetChat101. Please leave your comments in the sections below. And if you'd like me to feature any particular college, please let me know. Thank you.